of our revision lecture, Maths 2, Chapter 5, that is quadrilateral. Okay, children. So in all these three lectures, we are discussing quadrilateral and their types. Okay, and I hope, children, you all are studying very well. Okay, and I hope you are practicing more and more questions on the daily basis, isn't it? Okay, children. So let's start the session. So, children, in the previous three lectures, we have discussed quadrilateral, chapter quadrilateral, and their types of quadrilateral. Okay, so we have also discussed what is definition, how to name the quadrilateral, what are the parts. Okay, how to name it, properties of types of quadrilateral. All this we have discussed. Okay, so in that lecture, we have discussed that quadrilateral, there are two forms of quadrilateral. Okay, in that we have studied that one is most important, parallelogram. Okay, under that it comes square, rectangle, and rhombus. Okay, and today we are going to see another form of quadrilateral, that is trapezium. Okay, so today we are going to discuss another form of quadrilateral, that is trapezium. Okay, so already we have discussed what is trapezium. So you are familiar with this quadrilateral, that is trapezium. So children, what is trapezium? You already have discussed what is trapezium. Okay, so we know that trapezium is also a type of quadrilateral where only one pair of opposite side is parallel. Okay, then that quadrilateral is called a trapezium. Okay, so it is a type of quadrilateral in which only one pair of opposite side is parallel. Okay, only one pair of opposite side is parallel is called a trapezium. Okay, so here we have seen that trapezium is a quadrilateral in which only one pair of opposite side is parallel. Okay, you can look at in this figure. In figure, ABCD is a quadrilateral in which AB is parallel to side DC. Okay, AB is parallel to side DC. So in a trapezium, only one pair of opposite side is parallel. Okay, so in trapezium, only one pair of opposite side is parallel. So here AB is parallel to side DC. Okay, so yeah, and the another side, that is side AD, is not parallel to side BC, and this side is called the non-parallel side. Okay, side AD is not parallel to BC, and this side is called non-parallel side. Okay, so here, children, in trapezium you can see that AB and DC, they are parallel side. Okay, so if they are parallel, then we can say that the given quadrilateral is a trapezium. Okay, so in this topic, that is trapezium, we are going to discuss one very important theorem, that is midpoint theorem. Okay, and this midpoint theorem is very much important. Okay, as most of the questions are asked on this topic, midpoint theorem. Okay, mostly questions are asked in exam. So listen carefully, children. This midpoint theorem is very important. So here you can see here, here point P is the midpoint of segment AD. Point P is the midpoint of segment AD, and point Q is the midpoint of segment BC. Okay, so here PQ, segment PQ is parallel to segment DC. Therefore, DC is parallel to AB. Okay, if a line is parallel to other, that other line will be parallel to the another line. Okay, so here PQ is parallel to DC. We have seen that AB is parallel to DC. Therefore, this DC is parallel to AB. Okay, and also we have to find that PQ, or in midpoint theorem we are going to find that PQ is half of AB plus DC. Okay, this PQ is half of AB plus DC. So we are going to discuss in the next slide. Okay, so children, another type of trapezium we are going to learn, that is isosceles trapezium. So what is isosceles? You are familiar with this word isosceles. Okay, isosceles, you have studied isosceles triangle. Okay, many times you have studied isosceles triangle. So what is isosceles triangle, children? In isosceles means a triangle in which two sides are of equal length, or two sides are same. Okay, that is called isosceles. Similarly, in trapezium, isosceles trapezium, what is it? A trapezium in which non-parallel sides are congruent. Okay, non-parallel sides are congruent is called an isosceles trapezium. So in trapezium ABCD, this is a trapezium. Okay, in that non-parallel side, here side AD and side BC, they are non-parallel side, and since they are congruent, we can say that it is an isosceles trapezium. Okay, so here AD, side AD is congruent to side BC. Okay, so the trapezium in which the non-parallel side, so here AD and BC are the non-parallel side, and since they are congruent, we can say that it is a isosceles trapezium. Okay, isosceles trapezium. Is it clear? So this type of trapezium is called isosceles trapezium. So here AB is parallel to side DC. So these are the parallel side, AB parallel to DC, and non-parallel side are AD and BC are the non-parallel side. So if they are congruent, we can say that it is a isosceles trapezium. Okay. Now in this isosceles trapezium, children, we can say this base, this AB, side AB and side DC, they are the base side. We can say it as the base side. Okay. The parallel side are called the base side, and the non-parallel side, they are called the sides. Okay. Please remember, in trapezium, in isosceles trapezium, the sides which are parallel, they are called the base sides, and the sides which are non-parallel, they are called the sides of the trapezium. Okay, are the two sides of the trapezium. Okay, is it clear? Okay, and if we draw a line segment, children, if we draw a segment joining the midpoints of non-parallel side, okay, here if I draw a segment joining the non-parallel side of trapezium, here like this. Okay, if I draw a segment joining the midpoints of non-parallel side of a trapezium, then it is called the median of the trapezium. Okay, median, we have studied median already. Okay, in the triangle chapter. So what is median? You know. So if we join the segment joining the midpoints of non-parallel side, here non-parallel side, so that is called the median of the trapezium. Please remember this. Okay, now see here, children, let us solve one question based on this trapezium. Okay, so you know trapezium is a quadrilateral trapezium when only one pair of opposite side is parallel. Okay, and in isosceles trapezium, what is isosceles trapezium? If the non-parallel sides of the trapezium are congruent, then we can say that quadrilateral is an isosceles trapezium. So here, let us solve one question based on this quadrilateral trapezium. Okay, let us see first question. So here, the measure of angle K, in the isosceles trapezium. So it is given, it is an isosceles trapezium, trapezium KLMN. Okay, the measure of angle K in the isosceles trapezium KLMN is 50 degree. So here angle K is given 50 degree, and side KL is parallel to side NM. What is given? Side KL parallel to side NM. Okay. we have to find the measures of the remaining angles. Okay, we have to find the measures of the remaining angle. So what is given? Angle, measure of angle K is given 50 degree. Again, what is given? KL is parallel to NM. Okay, it is a trapezium, it is a isosceles trapezium, it is given. Therefore this KL is parallel to NM, and we have to find the measures of the remaining angle. One measure of one angle is given. Okay, so here in trapezium, children, one thing I have forgot to mention, that adjacent angles. Okay, adjacent angles, already we have studied in parallelogram. Okay, adjacent angles are supplementary. Okay, adjacent angles are supplementary, or we can say interior angles are supplementary. Okay, so let us see the solution. Quadrilateral KLMN, it is given an isosceles trapezium. Okay, it is given an isosceles trapezium. And also what is given? Side KL is parallel to side NM. Okay, so side KL parallel to side NM, therefore side KN is equal to side LM. Okay, side LM is equal to side LM. Kn is equal to side, because in isosceles trapezium non-parallel sides are congruent. Non-parallel sides are congruent, therefore this Kn is equal to ML. Okay, since it is given an isosceles trapezium, therefore the non-parallel sides are congruent. Therefore this Kn is equal to ML. Okay, if they are equal, okay, if they are equal means what? Here angle K is given 50 degree, angle K 50 degree is given. Okay, and these two sides are congruent, these two sides are congruent, angle K is given 50 degree, therefore angle L is also how much? 50 degree. Okay, why angle L is 50 degree? What is the reason, children? Because since it is an isosceles trapezium, we know that the base angle, these are the base angles, angle K and angle L, they are the base angles. The base angles of an isosceles trapezium are congruent. Is it clear? So here angle K is 50 degree. These two sides are congruent. Since it is an isosceles trapezium, therefore angle K is equal to angle L. What is the reason? They are the base angles, because it is an isosceles trapezium. So base angles in an isosceles trapezium are congruent. So angle L equal to 50 degree. Okay. Similarly, side NM. Side NM is parallel to side KL, because it is a trapezium, means one of the opposite side will be parallel. Okay, it is given. The reason is given. And side K NK. Now here we have to consider NK is the this transversal. Okay, this NM and KL are the parallel side, and NK is the transversal. Okay, NK is the transversal. So we have to find the remaining angle. Angle K is given 50 degree. Okay, angle K 50 degree. Angle K is given 50 degree. We have to find the remaining angle. So angle K plus angle N. Angle K plus angle N equal to 180 degree. What is the reason? What is the reason? They are the interior angles. Okay, this is the, these are the parallel lines, and NK is the transversal, children. So the angles formed on the same side of the transversal are interior angles, and we have studied interior angle test of parallel lines. What is it? Interior angles formed on the same side of the transversal is supplementary. Okay, therefore angle K plus angle N is equal to 180 degree. 180 degree, because they are interior angles, and interior angles are supplementary. So from that we can find measure of angle N. So measure of angle N, how much will get? 130 degree. Okay, angle N 180 minus 50, that is equal to 130 degree. Is it clear? So we got angle N. Angle L also we have got. We have to find angle M. How can we find angle M? Okay, I told you just now, the parallel sides, they are the base side, we can say it as base side. Parallel side are called base sides. Okay, and since it is a isosceles trapezium, base angles are congruent. So base angles are congruent. Therefore, angle N is congruent to or equal to angle M. Why? Because they are base angles. Okay, they are base angles. So angle N, how much we have got? 130 degree. Okay, similarly angle M is also 130 degree. The reason is they are base angles are equal in isosceles trapezium. In isosceles triangle also we have seen base angles are equal or congruent. Similarly in isosceles trapezium also base angles are same or congruent, we can see. I hope it is clear to all. So next, very important theorem we are going to learn. Okay, midpoint theorem. So this theorem is so very much important in this chapter, since most of the questions may be asked on this theorem. Mostly questions are asked on this theorem, midpoint theorem. Okay, so listen carefully. So what is midpoint theorem? Okay, midpoint theorem. So children, in a triangle, the line segment in a triangle, the line segment joining the midpoints of any two sides. The line segment joining the midpoints of any two sides. So in triangle ABC, the segment joining the midpoints, here is the segment, okay, joining the midpoints. So here P is the midpoint of segment AB and Q is the midpoint of segment AC. Okay, joining the midpoints of any two sides. So AB and AC are the two sides. Any two side is parallel to the third side. So here PQ is parallel to the third side, that is BC, and is half of it. Means what, children? In a triangle, the line segment joining. So in this triangle ABC, here the line segment PQ, okay, PQ is the segment joining the midpoints. Here P is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of segment AC. Joining the midpoints of any two sides. So any two sides, which are the sides here? AB and side AC. Okay, it's parallel to the third side, which is the third side here, BC. Means PQ is parallel to the third side, BC, and PQ is half of it. Means what? PQ is parallel to third side, okay, BC, and PQ is half of BC, that we are going to learn in this theorem. Okay, PQ is half of BC, that we are going to see in this theorem. Okay, so in a triangle, the line segment joining the midpoints of any two sides. So here sides AB and AC are the two sides, is parallel to the third side. Parallel to the third side means PQ is parallel to BC and PQ is half of it. Okay, so let us see solve this theorem. Let us see the proof of this theorem. Okay, huh. So let us see the proof of this theorem. So what is the theorem, children? In a triangle, the line segment joining the midpoints of any two sides is parallel to third side in and is half of it. Okay, and is half of it. So let us see how the theorem is proved. Now see us. What is given, children? What is given? What is given? It is given only. It is given that triangle ABC is given. Okay, and point P and Q are the midpoints. What is given? Point P and Q are the midpoints of segment. Here, segment AB and segment AC are the midpoints of segment AB and AC given. Okay. Also, again, what is given? Okay, so here point P is the midpoint of segment AB and point Q is the midpoint of segment AC given. What you have to prove? Just now I told you. What is What we have to prove? We have to prove that PQ is parallel to BC. That we have to prove. And again, also we have to prove that PQ is half of BC. Okay, PQ is half of BC. So in order to prove, we need to do a construction, children. Okay, we need to do a construction. So what we have to do? We have to produce segment QR. We have to produce segment PQ. We have to produce segment PQ up to R. Okay, PQ, such that PQ here, PQ is equal to QR. Means we have to produce segment PQ to R such that PQ is equal to QR. Okay, so draw segment here RC. Okay, draw segment RC. Now let us see the proof. Now see here, children, in triangle AQP, in triangle AQP, this triangle, in triangle AQP and triangle CQR, this triangle CQR. Okay, you can see that here segment AP, AP, segment PQ, segment PQ. Where is segment PQ? This one. Segment PQ is equal to QR. Segment PQ is congruent to segment QR. What is the reason? What is the reason? That is the we have taken it by construction. We have drawn it by construction. Okay. So first condition, PQ is congruent to segment QR by construction. Okay. Second condition, AQ. AQ is congruent to QC. Okay. What is the reason? Given Q, and also it is given that Q is the midpoint of segment AC. Therefore, AQ is congruent to segment QC. Second condition. And third condition is that angle AQP, angle AQP, this angle AQP is congruent to angle CQR. Why they are congruent, children? They are vertically opposite angle. Okay, angle AQP is congruent to angle CQR. They are vertically opposite angle. So three conditions we have fulfilled. So triangle AQP, triangle AQP is congruent to triangle CQR. By which test? By side angle side test. Here, side angle side test. So by side angle side test, we have proved triangle AQP congruent to CQR. Okay. Now angle PAQ, this angle PAQ is congruent to angle RCQ, this angle. Okay. Why they are congruent? Because these two triangles are congruent, therefore they are the congruent angle of the corresponding they are the corresponding angle of the congruent triangle. Okay. Okay, this angle PQA is congruent to angle RCQ. The reason is they are the corresponding angle of the congruent triangle. Okay. Also, AP, segment AP is congruent to segment CR. Congruent AP is congruent to segment CR. What is the reason? They are also corresponding side of the congruent triangle. Okay. Now see here, children, this AB, line AB or segment AB, we can say segment line AB is parallel to line CR. What is the reason? What is the reason? By alternate angle test. Okay, by alternate angle test, AB is parallel to CR. Just now we have proved that these are angles. This angle PQA and angle RCQ, they are what? They are alternate angles. If alternate angles are congruent, then we can say that the two given lines are parallels. Okay, in the previous class we have discussed alternate angle test. If the alternate angles are congruent, then the lines are two lines are parallel. Okay, therefore AB is parallel to CR. Therefore, next, segment AP. Segment AP is congruent to segment CR. Okay. So from this we can get AB is parallel to CR. Similarly, AP is congruent to segment CR. We have got from the first, we have proved the congruency condition. In that we have proved that AP is congruent to CR. They are corresponding side of the congruent triangle. Okay. Now, AP. AP is congruent to segment BP. Okay. AP is congruent to segment BP. What is the reason? Because here P is the midpoint given in the theorem. AP is the midpoint of, sorry, P is the midpoint of AB. Therefore, AP is congruent to segment PB. Okay, and PB is parallel. PB is parallel to segment CR. Why? Because we have proved that since they are congruent. Okay, since they are congruent, and also we have proved that AP is congruent to CR. From that, consecutively we get PB is congruent to CR. Okay. Now, this quadrilateral PB, PBCR, PBCR is a parallelogram. Okay, because PB is parallel to CR, therefore this PBCR quadrilateral PBCR is a parallelogram. Okay, therefore if they are parallelogram, segment PQ is parallel to BC. Okay, PQ is parallel to BC. Why? Because PR is equal to BC given. PR is equal to BC. They are the opposite sides are congruent. PR equal to BC. They are the opposite sides of the parallelogram and they are congruent. Okay. So segment PQ is parallel to BC and PR is equal to BC. Opposite side of parallelogram. Now PQ. Now see here PQ. PQ will be half of PR. PQ will be half of PR. Okay. PQ we have taken by construction that PQ is congruent to QR. Okay. So PQ is half of PR. So PR is equal to BC. You have taken into the first condition. Okay. PQ is half of PR. So half of PR. PR is equal to BC because they are the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. Therefore, we will write PQ is half of BC. Okay. So in this way, we have to prove. Is it clear? I hope it is clear to all. So next theorem, children, we are going to study, that is the converse of the midpoint theorem. Okay. Next theorem we are going to study, that is converse of midpoint theorem. Now see here, what is the theorem? Converse means what? Opposite of that. Okay. So what was the midpoint theorem? What was the midpoint theorem, children? The segment joining the midpoints of any two sides of a triangle. The segment joining midpoints of any two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half of it. That was the midpoint theorem. Now we are going to study converse of the midpoint theorem. Now see here, if a line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle, if a line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle is parallel to the second side, okay, is parallel to the second side, then it bisect the third side. Okay, so if a line, so here you can see this is the line. If a line is drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle, so here AB is the side, one side, a line is drawn to the midpoint. Here P is the midpoint. Okay, midpoint of one of the side of a triangle. That line is parallel to the second side. So here PQ is parallel to BC. Okay, it's parallel to the second side. Then it bisect the third side. Then it bisect the third side, means it bisect the side AC. Okay, means AQ is equal to QC. Okay, it bisect the third side. That is the meaning of this theorem. So if a line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle is parallel to the second side, then it bisect the third side. Okay, means here PQ is parallel to BC, and the line which passes will bisect the bisect the third side. Third side here is the AC. AC bisect means what? Divides equally. So AQ is equal to QC. That we have to prove in this theorem. Okay, let's see the proof, children. Okay, so what is converse of midpoint theorem? If a line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle and parallel to the other side, then it bisect the third side. Okay, so first of all, write down what is given and to prove. So what is given? So here, yes, in triangle ABC, P is the midpoint of segment AB. So what is given? P is the midpoint of segment AB, and line PQ is parallel to side BC given. Okay, PQ is parallel to BC given, and also line PQ intersect the side AC at point Q. PQ intersect the line segment AC at point Q given. What we have to prove? We have to prove that segment AQ is congruent to segment QC. Yes, we have to prove that segment AQ congruent to segment QC. So in order to prove, let us do a construction. What construction we have to do? Here we have to draw QR. QR here. QR parallel to uh, PB. Okay, QR parallel to PB intersecting the segment BC in intersecting the segment BC at R. Okay. Huh. So let us see the proof. Let us see the proof. Huh. So here PQ is parallel to segment BC. PQ is parallel to segment BC. It is given. Okay. Segment PQ is parallel to segment BC. Now PQ is parallel to segment BR. Okay. PQ is parallel to segment BR. Okay. And also QR is parallel to segment BP. Through construction we have drawn. Okay. So QR is parallel to segment AB we can say, or PB we can say. Okay. Through construction. Okay. Therefore, segment QR is parallel to segment PB. QR, this one, QR is parallel to segment PB. Okay. So if the opposite sides are parallel, so we can consider quadrilateral PQRB is a parallelogram. Okay, we will consider quadrilateral PQRB is a parallelogram. Okay, therefore, if it is a parallelogram, means segment PB is congruent to segment QR. What is the reason? Because they are the opposite sides of the parallelogram, and opposite sides of the parallelogram, it is congruent. Okay, so segment PB is congruent to segment QR. And segment AP is congruent to segment PB given. Okay, since P is the midpoint of segment AB, therefore AP is congruent to segment PB given. Okay, therefore segment PB is congruent to segment QR. Okay, through consecutivity, segment AP is congruent to segment QR. Now, if we consider two triangles, triangle APQ and triangle QRC, these two triangles. Okay, these two triangles, this triangle and this triangle. Okay, if we consider triangle APQ and triangle QRC, in that segment AP, this one, segment AP is congruent to segment QR, congruent to segment QR. Okay, Second condition, angle PAQ, this angle PAQ is congruent to angle RQC. RQC. Okay. Why they are congruent, children? Why they are congruent? You can see they are corresponding angles. Okay. Corresponding angles, and they are congruent by the converse of corresponding angle test. Okay. Two lines are parallel, then the corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, so they are corresponding angles, so these two angles are congruent by converse of corresponding angle test. Similarly, angle AQP, AQP, this angle AQP, and angle QCR, this angle AQP and angle QCR, again they are congruent by converse of corresponding angle test. Okay, therefore angle AQP is congruent to angle QCR. What is the reason? Side angle test. Okay, side angle test. These two triangles are congruent. Okay, if these two triangles are congruent, then AQ is congruent to CQ. What is the reason? Corresponding side of the congruent triangle. So we have considered these two triangles and we have proved they are congruent. If they are congruent, then the corresponding sides are also congruent. Okay, so here segment AQ is congruent to segment CQ. Reason is corresponding side of the congruent triangle. Okay, so that only we have to prove here, that AQ, it bisect the third side. Okay, what is the theorem? If a line drawn to the midpoint of one side of a triangle and parallel to the other side, then it bisect the third side. So your third side is the AC, and we have to show that AQ is congruent to CQ, and that only we have proved. Okay, AQ is congruent to CQ. They are congruent because they are corresponding side of the congruent triangle. Okay. So on the based on these theorems, midpoint theorem and converse of midpoint theorem, so let us solve some questions, children. Okay, so once again I will repeat what is converse of midpoint theorem and midpoint theorem. Okay, so what is midpoint theorem? The segment joining midpoints of any two sides of a triangle. The segment joining midpoints of any two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half of it. That is called the midpoint theorem. And converse of midpoint theorem, what is it? If a line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle parallel to the other side and it bisect the third side. Okay, please remember this. No, this in exam, these theorems, to prove this theorem will not come, only you have to write the theorem. Okay, and this is very important regarding this chapter. Okay, so midpoint theorem. So on this, based on this, we are going to solve some questions. See, so let us see the question. In the figure, in triangle PQR, so triangle PQR, point X is the midpoint of side PQ given. Okay, point X is the midpoint of side PQ given, and segment XZ is parallel to QR given. Okay, and segment XY is parallel to PR. XY, so XY parallel to PR also given, and the length of PQ is given 20 centimeter. We have to find YZ. Okay, so in figure, what is given? Triangle PQR is given. Point X is the midpoint of PQ, and XZ is parallel to QR. Again, XY is parallel to PR, and length of PQ is given 20 centimeter. We have to find YZ. Okay, so let us see the solution, how we can find. Okay, so whenever there is a midpoint, so let us remember, children, we have to apply midpoint theorem. Okay, whenever there is a midpoint in the question, please remember you have to apply the midpoint theorem. Okay, now see here, What is given in triangle PQR? In triangle PQR, point X. In triangle PQR, point X is the midpoint. So let us write down what is given. In triangle PQR, X is the midpoint of segment PQ. Okay, and segment XZ is parallel to QR given. XZ is parallel to QR given. Now see here. Now, by the converse of midpoint theorem, by converse of midpoint theorem, by converse of midpoint theorem, point Z, point Z is the midpoint of side PR. Why point Z is the midpoint of PR? Because converse of midpoint theorem. What is the theorem? Since it is given X is the midpoint of side PQ. Okay, if a line, what is the theorem? If a line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle, okay, so here X is the midpoint of segment PQ, okay, of a triangle, and parallel to the other side, so XZ is parallel to QR given, parallel to the other side, then it bisect the third side. Okay, bisect the third side means here PZ is equal to ZR or RZ, we can say. Okay, so according to this converse of Pythagoras theorem, Z is the midpoint of PR. Converse of Pythagoras theorem. Sorry, converse of midpoint theorem. So point Z is the midpoint of side PR. Is it clear? Next, and X is the midpoint of PQ. Okay, so here Z is the midpoint of PR. Yes, therefore segment XZ, segment XY is parallel to segment PR. Okay, here XY is parallel to PR given. XY is parallel to PR given. Okay, now point Y is the midpoint of QR. Since it is parallel, it is the midpoint of QR. Okay, from 1 and 2, what will get? This point Z and point Y, they are the midpoints of segment PR and QR. Okay, they are the midpoints of segment PR and QR of triangle PQR. Okay, therefore by midpoint theorem, what we have to find? We have to find YZ. Okay, we have to find YZ or ZY, we can say, by midpoint theorem. Since YZ is parallel, okay, YZ is parallel to PQ, therefore YZ is half of PQ. Okay, this one you consider, this triangle. See here, this triangle, and here you can see here YZ. Okay, YZ is parallel to PQ. Okay, YZ is parallel to PQ, therefore YZ is half of PQ. So PQ is given how much, children? It is given 20 centimeter. Okay, so YZ is half of PQ. PQ is given 20 centimeter. We have to find YZ. So YZ is equal to 10 centimeter. Okay, so we have to apply here both the theorems, converse of midpoint theorem as well as midpoint theorem, and we have to solve such type of question. Okay, is it clear? I hope it is clear to all. Next question. Next question, children. In the figure, quadrilateral PQRS is a parallelogram. So in figure, quadrilateral PQRS is a parallelogram given in which point A is the midpoint of side SR. So point A is the midpoint of side SR. Okay. B is a point on diagonal PR. B is a point on diagonal PR. Okay, such that RB is given 1/4 of PR. So B is a midpoint on PR such that RB is given 1/4 of PR. AB when produced. So AB when produced meets RQ at C. Yes, when AB is produced, meet RQ at C given. So we have to prove that the point C is the midpoint of side QR. So point C is the midpoint of side RQ or QR, we can say. So here we have to prove that C is the midpoint of RQ, or you can say QR. That we have to find. So let us see what is given. Okay, what is given? Quadrilateral PQRS is a parallelogram given, and point A is the midpoint of SR given. Also, B is the midpoint of PR, diagonal PR, such that RB is 1/4 of PR given, and AB when produced meets RQ at point C, and we have to prove that point C is the midpoint of segment or side RQ, that we have to find. So in order to prove, let us we need to do a construction. Okay, we need to do a construction. What construction we have to do? We have to draw diagonal QS. Okay, we have to draw diagonal QS here. This diagonal QS. Okay, such that it diagonal PR. We have to draw diagonal QS intersecting the diagonal PR in point O. So these diagonals, they are intersecting at point O. Okay, so let us see the proof now. We know that in a parallelogram, diagonals of a parallelogram, they bisect each other. Okay, in a parallelogram, diagonal bisect each other. It means what? It means what? Here RO is equal to PO, because this both the diagonals, they are intersecting at point O. Diagonal SQ and diagonal PR, they are intersecting at point O. So we know that in a parallelogram, diagonals, they bisect each other. Okay, therefore RO is equal to PO. Okay, RO is equal to PO. Now here PR can be written as PR can be written as twice of RO. Yes, children. This RP or PR, we can say this RP is written, can be written as twice of RO. Okay. Now what is given? RB is given 1/4 of PR. RB is given 1/4 of PR. Okay. Now, so cross multiply it, you will get 4 RB is equal to PR. Okay, PR is equal to 4 RB. Okay. Now R 4 RB is equal to PR. We have got. Now RB is equal to this. Yes, 4 RB is equal to 2 RO. Why? Why 2 RO? Because PR is equal to 2R. Here you can see here PR is equal to twice of RO. So therefore 4 RB is equal to twice of RO. They are written there. Okay. So multiplying 2 on both the sides, sorry, dividing 2 on both the sides, we'll get 2 RB is equal to RO. Okay. Now see here, point B. Point B is the midpoint of side SR given. Okay. Point B is the midpoint of RO. It is given. Okay. And point A is the midpoint of SR also, it is given. Okay. So by midpoint theorem, so by applying midpoint theorem, we will get what? AB. AB is parallel to segment SO. So by midpoint theorem, AB is parallel to SO. Okay. Since here A dash, B dash, C and S dash, O dash, Q. Okay. Therefore, this segment AB is parallel to SO. Okay. By midpoint theorem, applying midpoint theorem, AC is parallel to segment SQ. Now, In triangle RSQ, in triangle RSQ, this one RSQ, this triangle RSQ. Okay, in triangle RSQ, A is the midpoint of SR, yes, and segment AC is parallel to segment SQ. Okay, since A is the midpoint of SR, therefore segment AC is parallel to segment SQ. Okay, what is why they are parallel? Because by the converse of midpoint theorem. Okay, I told you A is the midpoint of SR given, means by applying the converse of midpoint theorem, we can say that it bisect the third side. Third side bisect means this AC will be parallel to SQ. Okay, so that only that we have to prove that C is the midpoint of side QR. C is the midpoint of side QR. So by the converse of Pythagoras, this midpoint theorem, we can say that point C is the midpoint of QR. Okay, so here A is the midpoint of SR, A is the midpoint of SR, and segment AC is parallel to SQ. Okay, so by the applying the converse of midpoint theorem, we can say that point C is the midpoint of QR. Yeah, point C is the midpoint of QR. Okay, I hope it is clear to all. Next we have to discuss important points. Okay, what we have learned till now, all that we are going to discuss. So first we will discuss on parallelograms, children. Okay, so in parallelograms we have studied properties. Okay, also we have studied test for parallelograms. Okay, so what were the properties? Once again, revise or recall, recapitulate what we have learned. Okay, in parallelogram, well, let us see the properties. The first property was both the pairs of opposite sides are parallel. Okay, opposite sides are parallel in parallelogram. Opposite sides and opposite angles are also congruent, we have seen, and diagonals they bisect each other, and angle adjacent angles are supplementary. All these properties we have seen. Okay, after that we have studied a test for parallelograms. What are the tests? Okay, if the opposite sides of a quadrilateral are congruent, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. If opposite sides are congruent, then that quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Okay, if the opposite angles are congruent, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Okay, and if the diagonals bisect each other, then that quadrilateral is also a parallelogram. All these properties we have studied. Also, if one pair of opposite side are parallel and congruent, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. So please remember all these properties, children. Properties and test for parallelogram. So on the based on this, you're going to solve all the questions. Okay. Next, next we have learned rectangle, or we can say it has right angled quadrilateral. Okay. So properties of rectangle: opposite sides are opposite sides in a rectangle are congruent, and also we have studied that all the angles in a rectangle are right angle, and diagonals of a rectangle are congruent and they are bisectors of each other. Okay, they are bisectors of each other. In diagonals are congruent in rectangle. After that we have learned rhombus. In that all sides are congruent, we have studied. Also their opposite sides are parallel to each other, opposite angles are congruent, and diagonals are not congruent. Their diagonals are not congruent, but they are perpendicular bisector of each other. Okay, in a rhombus, the diagonals they are not congruent and they are perpendicular bisectors of each other. After that, we have studied learned square. Square, all sides are congruent and all angles are also right angle in a square. Opposite sides are parallel. Also, diagonals are congruent and they are perpendicular bisector of each other. We have learned, and diagonal bisect each other. Okay, and we have also learned that this all this rectangle, rhombus, and square, they are the form of parallelogram. Yes. Next, just now we have learned today, that is another form of trapezium, quadrilateral, that is trapezium. Okay, so what is trapezium? We have learned definition of the trapezium. What is it? only one pair of opposite sides are parallel to each other, and the other pair of opposite sides are non-parallel to each other. Okay, so in a trapezium, the segment joining the midpoints, we- the segment joining the midpoints of non-parallel side is called the median of the trapezium. Yes, I told you what is median. Median of the trapezium. Starting only I have discussed. Okay, after that we have studied isosceles trapezium. Isosceles trapezium means what? A trapezium in which non-parallel sides are congruent. So non-parallel sides are congruent, then that such type of trapezium is called isosceles trapezium. Okay, so in trapezium, isosceles trapezium, diagonals are congruent. This is one important point you have to remember. In isosceles trapezium, in only isosceles trapezium, these diagonals are congruent. Okay, in isosceles trapezium, diagonals are congruent, and also adjacent base angles are congruent. In isosceles trapezium, adjacent base angles are congruent. Okay, adjacent base angles are congruent. So these are all the important points you have to remember, all the properties, all the theorems, and on the based on these properties, theorems, you are going to solve, you are going to apply your knowledge to solve questions, okay, in your syllabus. So I think, I hope it is, everything is clear to all. So in the next lecture we are going to discuss all the whatever we have learned till now, everything we are going to recall, recapitulate, and we are going to clear your doubt also. Okay, all the questions we are going to solve. So I think we should stop here.